Key cost driving factors when quoting printed circuit boards. Customers or buyers who are relatively new to the printed circuit board industry may sometimes be confused as to how a circuit board is priced by the fabricator. In this video, we will demystify the factors used by fabricators to calculate price, empowering you to better plan and price your next PCB project. The cost driving factors in the manufacturing industry as a whole all have some similarities, including the need for facility, equipment overhead, and labor and raw material costs. In addition to these basic requirements, manufacturing a printed circuit board often utilizes chemical processes and wastewater treatment systems, which require special approvals, permits, zoning, etc. Although every manufacturing industry has raw material costs, the raw materials used in printed circuit board fabricating can be very expensive, including copper, gold, lead, nickel, and other materials. In this video, we will quickly highlight 13 key cost driving factors. Key factor number 1 is board size and quantity. The size of the PCB is the first cost factor, often referred to as the real estate of the board. The larger the board, the more real estate required to make it. Quantity is important because many manufacturers will have a minimum cost for an order. For instance, you may only need 10 pieces, but the minimum order cost would include 20 pieces. As the quantity increases, the per board cost will go down until you reach the minimum manufacturing cost. Key factor number 2 is lead time. Time is money. The faster you want your order, the more it will cost. There are real costs associated with manufacturing a PCB faster and making some jobs a higher priority over others. Depending on the turn time, the increased cost can be between 30% and 200% or more. Key factor number 3 is layer count. The number of layers is a significant cost driving factor. Single or double-sided PCBs are roughly the same cost to manufacture. However, multi-layer PCBs create additional costs in material and manufacturing process. To go from a 2-layer PCB to a 4-layer PCB can typically double the price or more. Once you move from double-sided to multi-layer, the price increase related to adding more layers is not as pronounced. For example, the cost to go from a 4-layer to 6-layer might only be about a 50% increase instead of doubling in cost. Key factor number 4 is drill size and count. When the hole size gets under 15 mils, the cost can increase 5 to 10%. Also, a large number of holes can increase the cost by that same percentage as well. The manufacturing process has to be adjusted with smaller hole sizes and large hole counts. Key factor number 5, material type and thickness. There are many material types that can be used to manufacture a PCB, the most common of which is called FR4. That is simply fiberglass and material woven together with an epoxy resin that includes fire-resistant properties. Other material types that could be selected include higher temperature FR4, polyimide, Rogers, etc. These other material types can significantly increase the cost of the PCB. The most common thickness of a PCB is 62 mils. Other thicknesses could increase the cost by 5 to 10%, depending on if you're using a standard thickness type or request a custom thickness. Key factor number 6 is trace and space. Many of the designs needed today require components that are very small. This drives the spacing between copper features on a PCB to be smaller and smaller. It is possible to see a 5 to 10% increase in cost for trace space that goes below 6 mils. Key factor number 7 is tooling and test charges. Tooling costs may include costs for cam time, film costs, etc. There are a variety of tests that can be performed related to manufacturing a PCB. An electrical test would be the most common, which will do a basic open and shorts test of the PCB to make sure it's electrically sound. Other tests are available and the costs vary greatly. Key factor number 8 is finish type. The most common finish type is still a lead finish, referred to as hassle, hot air solder level. Other finishes can add 10 to 20% or more to the cost. Those include a variety of gold finish options, such as Enig, body gold, gold fingers, etc. Key factor 9 is drill type. If you need much smaller holes, referred to often as microvias, then a laser drill process is required. Laser drill can add significant cost to the overall process. Another factor would be blind or buried vias. These are vias that do not go all the way through the entire board. Each additional drill process can add as much as 20% or more to the cost. Key factor number 10 is lamination process. This can add additional costs when it requires something outside the standard process. These processes include sequential lamination or laminating FR4 with a different material type such as polyamide. Key factor number 11, specification standards. IPC Class 2 is a common standard for final PCB inspection and quality processes. Class 3 is a step up from Class 2 that requires additional processes such as coupons and cross-sections to be added to the manufacturing process and can see a cost increase of 15 to 20%. Military and aerospace specifications could also increase the cost. Key factor number 12, via fill. Vias on PCBs are usually not filled completely. They will have copper plating and the board finish in the holes, but they will not be completely filled. You can fill vias with either non-conductive or conductive material. This process will add 10% or more to the cost of the PCB. Key factor number 13, fabrication. Additional costs will be incurred when there is additional fabrication that needs to be done to the finished board. These include counterbores, countersinks, complex routing, controlled depth drilling, etc. These costs will vary greatly. As you can see, there are many factors that can impact the cost of manufacturing a printed circuit board. If this has been helpful, or if you have any questions about these cost driving factors, please contact us or leave a comment below.